All right, in this explainer, we are tackling a feeling I think we all know, that feeling of being stuck. We're gonna break down the mental barriers that hold us back and give you a simple but really powerful toolkit for thinking outside the box.
Okay, let's be real for a second. You ever have that feeling like you're just stuck in a rut, going through the motions, thinking the same thoughts, hitting the same walls day after day? It's so frustrating, right? And look, it happens to every single one of us.
You know, the best way to describe this feeling, it's like being trapped in an invisible box. You can almost feel all these possibilities just outside your reach, but you can't get to them. And why? Because your own thought patterns have literally built the walls of a prison, one you can't even see. So what are these invisible walls actually made of? Well, the material we're looking at today calls them impediments to thinking. These are the cognitive barriers that keep us locked in. But here's the really cool part, the good news. The second you can name them, you get the power to start tearing them down. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we break free? Well, there's a roadmap, and it's a simple, super powerful 3-step framework. First, we gotta start with awareness. That means understanding your own perception. Then we move into action mode by challenging our assumptions. And finally, we make it personal by figuring out and overcoming our unique mental blocks. All right, let's dive into that first step, seeing your own reality. This is all about awareness, because let's face it, you can't change how you think until you really get a handle on how you see the world in the first place. And this brings us right to the heart of it, the concept of perception. See, it's not about some objective reality out there. It's about your unique interpretation of it. It's like a lens that's been shaped by everything you've ever experienced, everything you believe. And realizing that is so incredibly empowering, because if you're the one who built the box, that means you've got the tools to take it apart. Okay, so you're aware of your personal lens. Awesome. Now it's time to get to work. Step 2 is where we stop just observing and we start actively smashing those old thought patterns. And what's really fascinating here is how direct our source material is about this. This isn't just some vague suggestion, you know? It's presented as the method. The #1 way to break your thought patterns is to challenge your assumptions. That's it. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It's about turning statements into questions. Think about it. An assumption like, this is the only way to do it, that's a total dead end. It just shuts everything down. But when you challenge it with a question like, wait, what if there's another way? Suddenly you've opened a door. You're inviting curiosity. You're inviting new ideas. All right, so we've learned to see our lens and we've learned to question our thoughts. Now we're at the final and maybe the most personal step, figuring out and overcoming specific blocks that are unique to you. And yeah, this is where it gets really personal. Maybe your mental block is that fear of being wrong. Or maybe it's that little voice in your head, that inner critic that shoots down every idea. Or hey, maybe it's that old belief that you're just not a creative person. Whatever it is, the key here is to get specific. You've got to name those things because you can't fight an enemy you can't even see. So let's bring this all home. What we've just walked through isn't just some abstract theory, right? This is a practical, hands-on toolkit for breaking that mold and starting to think with way more clarity and creativity. So, your path to thinking differently, it really boils down to 3 powerful actions. First, see your world by understanding your own perception. Second, question your world by challenging your assumptions. And finally, change your world by overcoming your creative blocks. See, question, change. It really is that simple and that powerful. And that brings us to the only thing that really matters now, doesn't it? Putting this into practice. So I'm going to leave you with one final powerful question. And this isn't just something to think about. It's a call to action. What is the first assumption you are going to challenge, starting today, right now?